Hello and welcome to etbfsi.com. My name is Amol Dete and I'm in conversation with Sandeep Shrikhande from Kotak Pension Fund. So welcome on the show.
Thank you.
So recently in a budget, the finance minister said that the role of the PFRDA need to strengthen. There has to be more transparency and there will be some changes required. I would like to ask you, you're there in the industry since long and heading this Kotak Pension Fund. Could you please tell me what kind of changes actually the finance minister hinting, in the PFRDA?
See, if you look at the structure of PFRDA, there was PFRDA, which is Pension Fund Regulatory Development Authority, which is the regulator.
Right.
And there was an NPS Trust, which was the National Pension System Trust, which was actually managing all the schemes.
Right.
So now one of the recommendations in the finance minister's speech is that PFRDA and NPS Trust will be segregated. In fact, it was there in last year's speech also, but now they have started the implementation process. So they will segregate these two entities. So the regulator will regulate and the NPS Trust, which was earlier an administrator of the schemes or which was managing the investment, etc., it will now be a separate entity.
Right.
So this is something which is already in the process of being implemented. Now, the second thing is, as you're aware, there are multiple pension schemes run by various regulators. For example, mutual funds run pension fund schemes, pension schemes, insurance runs pension schemes. There is EPFO, which is also like a quasi-pension, and there is, of course, NPS. So there has been a long-standing demand more from the PFRDA side that all pension fund schemes should be under one regulator.
Right.
So there has been a sort of a request or a recommendation that you unify and have a pension regulator. But it is, some steps have been taken, like they had allowed portability between EPFO and NPS. They have allowed portability between superannuation schemes and NPS.
Right.
But whether all the schemes will be administered by one regulator and whether that regulator will be PFRDA,
Right.
that I don't think any concrete steps have been taken. But there seems to be a thinking that there should be a unified pension regulator.
So whenever this unified pension regulator comes into the picture, does this mean that this regulator will look at the products specifically offered by the pension fund, specifically by you, one is NPS, also by the EPFO and also by the insurance companies, or how this actually will work?
See, if you look at the current structure of pension funds, there are no products as such.
Right.
We don't have the flexibility like insurance companies and mutual funds to design products.
Right.
There are only certain asset classes which have been laid down by PFRDA.
Right.
So you can invest in 4 asset classes and only the allocation towards the schemes can vary.
Right.
So we don't have the flexibility to design products. Whereas if you look at insurance and pension and mutual fund, they have the flexibility to design products. So if and when this sort of unification happens, it could mean a lot of product innovations.
Right.
So mutual funds, insurance companies and pension funds could design new products. Secondly, with unification, the size of the regulator will go up. Today, if you look at it in terms of AUM, the pension fund industry is a little over 4 lakh crore.
Right.
If you look at, say, the mutual fund industry, which is probably 20-25 lakh crores, or LIC standalone and insurance probably would be 30-35 lakh crore. So from that angle, the pension fund regulator is a very small entity.
Right.
So once you club all the three, the pension fund regulator will also gain some size.
Right.
So I think as and when it happens, all pension plans, when they will be governed by one regulator, there will be a lot of uniformity, there will be a lot of common features, there will be proper regulation, and there will not be unnecessary competition between the regulators.
Right.
So if you have a product, it should be in the interest of the subscriber.
Right.
So if there is one regulator, they can regulate all the 3 entities, which is mutual funds, insurance companies and pension funds, and probably design good products for the regulator, for the subscriber. That's what I feel.
Okay, and one more very important thing in the budget, which the finance minister had said, is the revision of the tax slabs.
Yeah.
Life insurance companies are already, finding it a bit challenging in short term. How do you find it?
See, as far as NPS is concerned, there is going to be a little bit of an impact because there were 2 deductions for NPS. One was at a corporate subscriber level and one was at an individual level. So the corporate subscriber level deduction for people, those who were in the high tax brackets or other who were in the high salary brackets, they were getting a deduction which was equal to 10% of their basic and there was no cap on it. So hypothetically, company CEO or a very large director who was probably earning, say, 50 lakh basic could actually get a deduction of 5 lakh rupees. But now what the new budget has done is they have capped the total deduction from EPF, superannuation and NPS at 7.5 lakhs.
Okay.
So now the high salaried earners in NPS who are getting a 10% deduction without any cap, they are going to be greatly impacted, because if EPFO and superannuation takes away, say, 4 lakhs or 5 lakhs, they will be left with a very small amount.
Right.
So there could be a reduction of maybe up to 40-50% of their NPS contribution. So this may discourage some of the corporate subscribers to opt for the plans, or even if it doesn't discourage them, it will definitely impact them financially, because their the taxable amount which they can avail will come down substantially. And secondly, from the list of exemptions which you have to forego if you want to go to the new tax slab, the deduction under 80CCD2 of 50,000 rupees, which was exclusively for NPS, that has also been excluded. So from that angle, if an individual subscriber wants to contribute 50,000 rupees, then they cannot avail of the new tax slabs. So they will have to then compulsorily go to the old tax slabs. So these are two big impacts on NPS, and probably one has to wait and watch and see how the people look at it, or how they evaluate.
But do you see the shortfall in the subscribers because the tax incentive is gone?
See, on the corporate subscribers, I see a medium-term shortfall, because there were a lot of corporate subscribers, almost close to 1 million corporate subscribers who had opted for this. Now, how much of them were in the high tax bracket? Even if you take 10%, I feel that those in the high salary brackets, those who had high basics and they could contribute 10% unlimited, they will definitely be impacted, because they will take a big hit. And secondly, whether people will move to new tax slabs, that is still, there's a lot of debate, a lot of discussions going on that. But there I don't foresee much of an issue, because most of the people are expected to remain in the old tax slabs. If you can claim deductions of, say, around 2.5 lakhs, that is what is the analysis done in newspapers. So there I don't expect a significant problem, but I definitely expect a problem in the corporate subscriber model.
True. Interesting. Thank you so much for sharing those insights, Sandeep. Thank you so much for talking to ETPFSI, and thank you so much for watching.